Certainly in the midst of these readings, this theme of motherhood is definitely with us, in front of us, a table. It sets this feeling, I think, of place in our homes, of place within our families. And that's what Jesus is talking about today with the disciples, but they don't exactly get it. There's this inclusive vision of heaven that Jesus offers them. I'm going from you to prepare a place for you. And that in the Father's house there are many dwellings. So it's this vision that's broad and welcoming. It's not this vision that is narrow, that heaven is this restrictive club that you have to work hard to get into, pay dues, etc., in some exclusive way. But that it's this broad, welcoming, inclusive vision. And what we see in this gospel is Jesus' great desire for us, all of us, for the apostles, but all of us, to be there. This great desire, he says, I'm going there to take you to myself so that where I am, you also may be. Gee, I think that's a pretty darn maternal reality as well. This great desire to be with, for us to be together. And ultimately what this way is, that Jesus is the way, is it's a way of love. It's a way of love that's rooted in our human experience. It's a way of love that knows joy. It's a way of love that knows sorrow and grieving. It's a way of love that knows suffering. It knows challenges. It knows happiness. It's ultimately a way of faith, hope, and love. These theological virtues that we build our lives on. Now, Thomas and Philip, I love these guys. God bless them. They don't understand. They don't get it. They're taking what Jesus is saying at face value, and so they're confused. They don't, which gets in the way of them believing, which gets in the way of them trusting what Jesus is saying to them. And it's easy from our perspective to read this and say, how in the world did they not get that he was talking metaphorically? But we're all there sometimes. We're all there. Mary, on the other hand, she does get it. She always got it. She gets it still, of course. She's the prototype of a disciple. She listens and understands. She trusts. She trusts what God says to her. She trusts what this angel says to her. And she does follow the way. Her motherhood, the motherhoods that we all know, always follow this way of love. She follows it because she knows it in all its dimensions. It's not something that's disconnected from our human experience, but she knows it in that experience. She knows the joys and the sorrows and the sufferings and the happinesses. She knows all of it. And still she always follows. And that's really the call. You know, Jesus is giving out this big vision of heaven. And the way there is this way of love through all of it. Through all of it. And what it does is it creates this sense of place, this sense of home. It makes a home where welcome and acceptance are known, even in the midst of all of the back and forth and challenges and joys in our lives. Certainly mothers, they are the heart of a family. And for us as a church, Mary is the heart of this church. It's a quote that's been put back out from Pope Francis from a couple of years ago, that without her we don't have a heart. But the motherhood that all of us are a part of as recipients, and that we're celebrating today as mothers, participate in that same motherhood. Bring that into the community. It's a love that corrects us sometimes and encourages us at other times. A love that forgives, a love that believes, sometimes believes in us more than we believe in ourselves. It's a love which walks with us in many places. And it's a love that is a source of blessing for us. A source of blessing as we receive it, and I'm sure a source of blessing as it's given. We as a community of Christians are always called to be for each other. And we hear that in the Acts of the Apostles today. This choosing of these 7 who are going to be deacons to help the community. So we celebrate Mother's Day. We celebrate the vocation of deacons. Reverend Mr. Eckert, we thank you for your service. We are called to follow a way of love always. Always. In many places. Following a way of love that is shown to us through many maternal figures in our lives. A place of welcome and inclusion. A place that ultimately says, where I am, you also may be. And so to all of you who are mothers, or play the role of mothers to many in your lives, happy Mother's Day.